Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Many Minds Therapy Hub. Today, I have Stefano Casillo. And Stefano, you are the only one, I think. Yeah, actually, the only one, the last one left to be introduced. So I wanted to make sure that we give you a chance. I know your schedule is quite busy. So, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? I'll leave it open, like maybe who you are, what you do, how you join my practice, how do we know each other? Up to you. Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah. As you said, my name is Stefano, and I've been in the field of psychology now for almost 13, 14 years. But I've been a practicing MFT now for close to 5 years, and it's been an amazing experience to be a part of this and to really help people in my everyday. And I work with individuals, families, couples of all ages. As a matter of fact, my youngest I've ever worked with was 3 years old, and then my oldest I think was
That
like
is little.
9. So. Yeah. It's been a lot of clients.
A lot of clients, a lot of different age group, a lot of different transitions throughout life. Yeah. What was the thing that you started doing? Because you mentioned 13 years in the field before practicing MFT, marriage and family therapy.
Yeah, I was a behavioral specialist, and I worked for the county of San Diego, and I really, it was very different to what I do now, but it was going into the homes of different families and working with the kids there, working with the parents, just anyone who was in the home. And, it was very eye-opening for me to really see how a lot of things go down sometimes. So, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of more community service really opens up the eyes. Actually, I think it's really helpful for when you're practicing marriage and family therapy in the office versus the work that you do in the community, because we see clients virtually from their home or in the office versus the perspective that you get when you actually go into the field and see family in their own environment. So
Yes.
Yeah, it's completely different. I'm glad you had that experience.
Yeah, it was very important, I think, for me to go through that, to see it all.
Yeah. What made you shift from behavioral specialist to kind of moving on to, okay, let me just merge what I know in psychology and I really want to go into marriage and family therapy?
That's a great question. I think what led me to really make that decision was I felt like I wanted to have even more impact. I wanted to have much more of an opportunity to really help them on a more personal level. Because I was going into their homes and I was working with them to an extent, but it was more about behaviors, and it was more about creating some kind of new reinforcement of what is appropriate and what versus what is not. And this was more of like an aspect of the deep depthness into a person's experience that I was looking for. And I decided, okay, if I want to pursue this, I want to go get my master's. And so I did that at Alliance International University, which is where I actually met you, and you were one of my professors. And and I felt like that was the right choice and have been thrilled with it ever since.
Yeah. And then somehow you decided master's is not where I want to stop and I want to move on to that. And now you are in the doctoral program, right?
That's correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
What is your interest now in the doctoral when it comes to research, and kind of what do you really want to really dive deep into?
Well, it's varied. I will say that.
Okay. I hear that.
I first initially started with an interest in working with Latinx men. And I think that one of the things that I was most interested about that population was there seems to still be a lot of mental health stigma, and even stigma related to seeking therapeutic services or counseling. And so I was very, very much intrigued with that. I did, however, make a shift due to some personal circumstances, I wanted to now focus more on regret, the subject of regret, and specifically with individuals who've lost a parent, whether or not how regret manifests. That's been my interest as of late.
I'm so curious about that. I can't wait to hear more about it eventually. I know we won't spend time on your future dissertation right now, but yeah, thanks for sharing that shift. It's such a, yeah, I can only imagine like how prevalent that may be. And I don't think it's something that we really talk about that much. Yeah. So I'm excited to hear more. And you are almost done, right? Maybe
Yes.
a year or so left.
Just about a year. I'm hoping for a year.
Yeah. So now you're gonna go and finish your doctoral exam and dissertation research. Exciting. Yeah. Say a little bit about the population that I know, because I know you, we work together. So I know the variety of clients that you have, and I know the theme of clients that you get right now. And I know clinical interest really, in my experience, from working in the field a while also, may shift based on like the population that you're working with and becoming curious about certain things. But for you specifically right now, what is a thing that is coming up that you're like, oh, I really enjoy working with this and I'm learning so much?
That's a great question. I mean, my personal policy, I'll start by saying this. My personal policy is, doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter what background you come, as long as you are a human being, I will see you. But as of late, there's been a bit of a recurring pattern that I've been getting a lot of single dads coming in. And it's been really enriching to work with them, to see kind of what kind of experiences they undergo. And I feel like in our current situation in the world, in our society, it's unheard of to think of men being able to really stand firm in their roles as parents and really do a great job. And so men kind of have had a bit of a reputation for not being the most involved or the most invested in their children's lives. So to see us to see a great amount of clients who are single dads, who are genuinely loving towards their children and really want the best for them, it's nice to see. It's a breath of fresh air.
Yeah. So the work that they're putting in as dads and as individuals, and in the role, in those dynamics that they have and with their children and people around them. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. I was curious because I know you do get a lot of single dads, so I was curious. Yeah.
It's been very interesting as of late, because I mean, in the past, I haven't normally gotten that many single dads, but I think it's an interesting time that we're in right now. And I think one of the things that really has been a huge learning factor for me of seeing them is that many times men feel like their emotions are not really welcomed, or it's not an appropriate topic of discussion as a man to have. And as a parent, we go, you go through so many different emotions, you go through so many different experiences that, you're forced to really confront those emotions and be part of them for the sake of you and for the sake of your children.
Yeah, be really in touch with it. Yeah. So you're doing an amazing job with them. I know that. Yeah. I'm glad we have you. If okay, tell me a bit about your personal cultural background, the languages that you speak. Is that okay?
So at first glance, it's very hard to kind of figure out exactly what my roots are. But so I am Latino, and I have family in various parts of Latin America, even parts of Europe here. But my bloodline is Italian, and so I usually tell people that I identify as Italian American, even though in this day and age it's hard for me to pinpoint myself. So, but I speak two languages. I speak English and Spanish, and I am currently working on my Italian as it is. So
Very good. Yeah. So we'll have a third language soon.
here's hoping. Here's hoping.
I won't speak to you in Italian then. Yeah. Okay. Anything else that you want to share? I'm so glad we finally got a little bit of yourself to share, because we know you, but we want to make sure that people get to know you
Sure.
as the individual. Mm-hmm.
I will say that it's been an amazing journey to be in the position of the therapist, and I think that in this day and age that it's becoming more accepted into the lives of people and more necessary. I think that is something really, really special, and I think that there's this kind of relationship we have with our clients is unlike anything I've ever seen, because we really build a very profound bond with them, a professional bond nonetheless. But I feel like we're in a way their confidants, and we're the people that they take a moment to really share their utmost self with, without feeling any sort of worry or fear that we will ridicule, judge them, or even share what they've experienced. So it's a very sacred connection, I feel.
Yeah, it's very privileged to be in that position. And even if they were to feel at times the fear of judgment, the ability to share that fear is also kind of, it's a special relationship. Professional, like you said, but it's still very special. Yeah. Thank you so much, Steph, for this time. I know you have to run and move on with your day, but I'm glad we were able to do this.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me on.
Yes, of course. Okay, bye-bye to everyone, and we'll see you again soon.